Hello and welcome to Rebel Republic. You're either with us or you're against us. We're the best political conservative talk show in all of Massachusetts, in all of Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Delaware, Rhode Island, New England.
How's
New
Worcester?
York.
How's Worcester doing?
Worcester
They're
is
having some problems in Worcester. They're got a lot of
sexual?
protests. No,
Sexual?
no. Well, that's
protests.
A lot of protests going down the streets of Worcester.
Yes. Worcester is the second largest city in New England, and there's a lot of political unrest. Yes.
They ICE arrested a young woman
I
on the streets in Worcester, and then
the councilwoman jumped right in.
And the citizens came out of the woodwork there to try to protect the woman from being taken away by ICE.
Well, one of them was a councilwoman.
No, I don't think so. No,
yes,
not in Worcester.
Yeah, one was a councilwoman.
Yeah, okay.
No, there was like a whole march.
Yeah, it was big. It was big. It was big. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, I wanted to get to this because I was shocked to read about it that agitators clash with police as they made arrests as clergy members descend on a Newark ICE facility. And I'm number one surprised Dave hasn't heard about this. Well, you're by Newark.
Clergy. I didn't know about the clergy.
Yeah. Well, the
Newark mayor.
Yeah, the group is composed of roughly 50 clergy members from Faith in New Jersey and Faith in Action. They linked in arms outside the main gate of Delaney Hall Detention Center as they chanted and sang songs.
We shall overcome.
Several speakers also said prayers for the inmates inside the facility and condemned their detention. The clergy members, can you stop chewing so loud?
Sorry.
You're chewing way too loud. Like what? But the other one you don't talk. This one you're chewing. Like, am I that boring to you?
Answer honestly.
You led the political conversation with 50 clergy outside of Newark ICE Detention Center.
Because it's by you. And they're obviously protesting ICE, deporting people and arresting people, bringing them in. The clergy members said they volunteered to be arrested and they will attempt to enter the ICE facility. They're trying to infiltrate.
They want a spot in
they say they want to infiltrate from the inside out.
Father MacGyver breaking in.
An ambulance was turned away from entering a gated area that the protesters were blocking on Monday because authorities feared the protesters might rush the gate if it were opened. Holy crap. Like, isn't this taking things a little too far?
Well, there's a new pope. I mean, bottom line.
So that means we just link in arms and protest the rush.
The clergy's in an uprising. They have their new leader. What denomination is Faith? The Church of Faith.
I've never heard of them.
Are they?
I'm looking this
liberal?
up.
Are they liberal Christians?
Nonsense.
Radical Christians?
No, I've never heard of Faith in Action.
Are they
before,
from the Church of Jesus Christ of Soros Day Saints?
No, I mean, said it happened around 5 o'clock. Events began to flare up.
Well, sure, that's probably what. Well, I was going to say it's probably what some are getting out of work, but they're not.
Well, that's what we're saying.
They're in the clergy. They're not working.
Employees of the facility attempted to drive out of the gated area.
It looks like they're priests.
Yeah, that's what Dave. Again, You failed to listen to that word I say. I said 50 clergy members.
Right.
They would be priests. Yes, the employees were not even allowed to get out. Like people would
I
move
thought there
for
were
them
no
to
such
leave.
thing as female priests. Why is there a female priest?
They're called nuns.
No, she's not a nun.
Sisters.
No.
Sisters.
There are
Not a
female
nun.
priests. There are female priests.
There are female.
There are?
priests?
Yes, in certain denominations, they have female priests.
Oh, well, then apparently the whatever of the
Okay.
action.
Well, hold on.
Faith in action. Faith in action as female priests.
Let the people see these people.
Faith in action.
Who's funding these? Who's funding? That's clergy?
Here is being brought down among us.
Oh
We
my
are here to
This
lead
is
the hell out of
nonsense.
this world. And
Okay?
we will be here until the hell.
You just
is
wasted my
brought
time with
out.
nonsense.
This
She's
isn't
a-
nonsense. This is major
She's as much
news.
of a priest. She's as much of a priest as my dog sitting over here is.
Bo is very knowledgeable.
Priest Holmes? Is that your dog?
How dare you slam Bo? Well, I never knew.
Keep it playing, Dave. I want to see the rest of the faces on this video here.
Not very long.
It's a community.
I'll go from the beginning.
We have to be here. I'm here because what we are seeing here at this facility and across
That's
our
the
country
truck honking for them to get the
against
fuck
what
out of the way.
I understand as godly and right. I'm here because my universalist faith calls me to love the hell out of
Universalist
this
faith. Okay, so hold on.
What does universalist mean? That's
All
a
right,
non-denomination.
How many? This is a
There has
church,
to
right?
be one- there has
No,
to
no,
be
they're
one around the
protesting
corner.
outside an ICE facility.
No, I understand that, but this is a church.
There has
Yes,
to be
faith
How many-
in action
how many-
is church.
How many priests do they have?
Universalist faith. Hold on. I think it's like the one that's around the corner from me.
How many?
But
How
Are you
many?
serious?
How many priests do they have at this church? It's a single church.
It's the strangest group of people. It's the Unitarian Universalism faith. They allow anybody like you could be LGBTQ. It's a theological belief that all people will eventually be saved by God. Okay, that's fine. It's a core principle, Unitarian Universalism, a liberal religious tradition that emerged.
Okay.
While Unitarian has roots in Christianity, it's now a diverse movement with a wide range of practices. Social justice being one of them. Inclusivity.
Oh, okay. So that's why they're there.
Get it?
They're there for inclusivity.
That's a church of Latter-day Aints.
They're social justice warriors. I got you.
This is the church.
Play it again. Play the video again, please. I just
Oh,
want to see the
sorry,
priests. I want to see the priests.
I think she's excellent. I think she's very charismatic.
I want to see all the priests lined up again.
I think she's very
And I
charismatic.
want to hear the horn. I want to hear the truck blaring the horn and saying, "Get the fuck out of the way."
We have to be here.
You got to go back. Oh, that's the beginning.
We have to be here.
Yeah.
I'm here because what we are seeing
Get out of the
here at
way.
this facility
Get the fuck out of the way.
is against what I understand as
I got a
godly
shipment of
and right.
dildos to bring through to the docks.
I'm here because my
You
universalist
motherfuckers.
faith
Why would they
calls
bring
me
a
to
shipment
love
of
the hell
dildos
out
to
of this
ICE?
world. And what we are seeing in this world is hell.
Hell.
Perhaps you know the phrase from 1 Timothy. God did not give us a spirit of fear.
First Timothy.
God gave
Yeah,
us
it's
a
the
spirit
Bible.
of strength,
Which you don't
a
read.
Never heard of
spirit
it.
of love.
Timothy's good. Pretty
God
good.
gave
Dave
us
reads the
a
Bible.
spirit
Dave's born
of
again.
just action.
We're all going to
We are
hell.
here to bring that kind of spirit back to Newark. We are here because there
Newark
a
is
spirit
one of the
of
worst
You
fear.
cities in the
need, you
world.
need more than that to bring something back to Newark.
Newark
Oh, here they
is the
are.
worst city
Here they are. Here's the
We are here to
chain
love
gang
the
crew.
hell out of this
Here's the
world.
chain. That guy's
We are
12.
here
They're locked in arms.
Is that a woman right there on the right?
That's
Am I
probably-
right?
No, they're-
After the
They're
glasses.
trans.
Hey!
After the
They're
glasses.
trans. They're trans.
It's 12 years old. They just no wonder it had to be 5 o'clock. It had to be 5 o'clock because she's got to get out of
They're
school.
locked in arms.
Who's the other
This
guy?
guy's sleeping on the right.
That's,
I don't know if it's
Master
a guy
Fu.
actually. This person is sleeping. May we daring in our doubts and be and cautious in our certainties.
Uh-huh.
I like
Keep
that.
going. Keep
I wanna
going,
He's
see-
Dave.
sleeping.
Keep
He's
going, Dave.
sleeping. And then there's a
Dave, you're
person
just
with
being
purple hair.
racist now, saying he's sleeping.
Keep playing. Keep playing it, Dave, please.
Just
There's a
because you're
person with purple
Polynesian.
hair.
Yes. Yeah. Wait, there's somebody else on his left.
No,
there. I
the
want
one
to
with
keep going.
the one with the hat.
And
Just
we
play
will
it.
be here.
There you go. Oh, they didn't go all the way there.
Oh, the guy's got a scarf. What is the green thing? The shamrock thing.
Peace and dignity and goodwill, because this is the country that I know I was born into, and I'm not stopping until it.
Oh.
She's locked in arms. But Dave, what is the shamrock thing around?
I don't
Like
know.
the shamrock
Pirate?
vest.
I have no idea. It could be
Oh,
Irish.
okay. I don't know. You're the religion. You're our religious
It's their
expert.
gang colors.
You're our religious expert.
There's the Crips, the Bloods, and the Frogs.
I just was curious.
The old Patties.
So the other news, a federal judge on Monday denied an injunction request to prevent the Department of Homeland Security and IRS from partnering to permit U.S. citizens, U.S. Customs, Immigration Enforcement, ICE, to taxpayer information to locate illegal immigrants subject to deportation. Now, you and I talked about this the other day, about how people who are illegal, who are going to work and doing their job, not causing problems, that there should be a mechanism in place to kind of give them a grace period to become legal.
Well, it makes if you read the question again, I'm trying to figure it out, because you're saying that they're allowing the ICE officials to use tax information to track down illegals.
Yes.
So bottom line, if they are illegals, how do they get a social security number? Oh, wait. The Biden administration gave them social security numbers.
Yes, they gave them out.
So from 2021 to 2024,
illegal
basically 2.2 million illegal immigrants who came over in different periods of time from that 3.5 year span were, after a 4 month to 6 month stay here in this country, were mailed a social security number.
Oh, they were mailed.
They were given a social security number. With that number, there are many benefits that can take place, like Medicaid.
Yeah, but don't you pay taxes with that number too?
If you file taxes.
Now,
granted, that's the thing. They are so they're going to have a name associated with a social security number
that has no taxes.
Now they can claim Medicaid to be able to get support in this country once they cross the border, because they initially have no job. A lot of them can't get jobs because they're illegals. They're in sanctuary cities where they can't find any kind of work. They have no housing, unless you consider the hotel that they're staying in housing. So bottom line, that was a thing started by the Biden administration, and now we want to use that, or ICE wants to use that, to be able to track them down and find out who's been milking off the Medicaid system here in this country,
what it said,
and deport them. I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing.
Yeah, a federal judge allows IRS to share illegal alien data with the Department of Homeland Security in court, which is a win for Trump. He's using that, obviously, to track down illegals. Dave, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, is this the right way to go to track down the illegals that are not paying taxes and get them out of the country? Or is it a step too far?
No, listen, any person that is illegally in the country doesn't have a right to be here. That's the first thing. So
very true. Right, very true. But Frank is saying there should be a grace period.
Me personally, I think first thing is obviously the criminals. Okay.
Right.
Tax evaders.
Yes.
I'm assuming almost all illegals are somewhat of a tax evader. So
I'm sure they don't pay all their taxes.
I'm sure they don't pay any taxes.
Well, they pay some. Sales tax.
That's true. Maybe they pay sales tax.
Yeah.
You got that. You got me there. So I think that he's within his rights to do so. I think that there is a process anyway. I mean, rounding him up. I mean, I think the issue overall on all of this is this Dreamers thing, and where like I think we have to figure out on this. If there's criminal activity, I think there should be a right to deport them immediately, and that I guess technically that could be tax evading or something like that. But the other area that we have to figure out is there a line that doesn't make sense to go after people on? So
that's what Frank was saying.
What is that line? Is that line the Dreamers, the people that have been born, like if they are, doing what they're supposed to do? I don't know.
Contributing to society, being productive.
Dave, if they're here, no matter if they're a dreamer, a child of immigrants, illegal immigrants, or if they were an illegal immigrant, if they've matriculated into society and they've been a good person in life and in their community and have worked, I have no problem with them getting some sort of path to saying, "Hey, man, you're here. We're going to give you a visa for X amount of years. You just check in every so often, see how your progress is. After X amount of years, you can apply for citizenship, and we'll get you into the country." I just think that the scales are turning now, where I think even
you said we're
moderate conservatives and some of I think it's really a sticking point now of them just basically going on the street and taking someone who's been here legally but has no criminal record and deporting them. I know that was the promise, and I know everyone rah-rahed it, and I know most everyone is going to back it because they don't want to look like fools saying, "Yeah, man, I'm for this," and then all of a sudden, no, stop. But I just think that at some point, we've got to pull back. We've got to be, I'm not saying human, because I hate when they use that word, human, all that, but we've got to be rational.
Empathetic.
No, there's no empathy in this. There should be no empathy in this. There should just be rationality. The rationality is that they have done no harm. They have been here a long time.
And
they have matriculated. They are neighbors of people. They do contribute to the local society. Let's get them a way to stay here. Everyone will be happy in the end. And that's what I think we need to work towards. Now, the criminals, get them the fuck out. Nobody's saying keep a criminal here. But I do think there's got to be some kind of dissertation between the two.
Right. Because there's a lot of resources that are going into this. There have already been a record number of deportations since Trump has taken office.
But that's okay, because I think most of them have been.
Have you seen the video of before and after of those detention facilities?
Nope. What they look
empty.
like when Biden was in?
Yes.
They're empty.
No, yes, there were people in them, I thought.
No, they're empty now.
They're empty.
Because they're gone.
Oh, well, because they were there because of the court system. They were waiting for their hearing and appeal.
No, that's how many people are coming across the border. And that they're being held because they're trying to process them.
Oh,
and then eventuality, they would just be let go. They were just being let go because they give you a hearing date. Here's your hearing date in 1 year.
That's how long it would be.
Yeah, who's coming back? What person? What random kung fu man? Remember the movie Kung Fu, where you just roam China for a year or 2 years or how long? What random person is going to roam the United States for a year and just, oh my God, I got to go back to my hearing in Fort Worth? Come on.
Yeah, there's well, I mean, if you have hope.
Yeah, that was David Carradine.
David Carradine, yeah, David Carradine walked the earth as Kung Fu, as I forget what his name was in Kung Fu.
Yeah, but obviously, if you want to come back into this country, you would come for your court date, right?
No, it's not going to let you come back into you're already in the country, and why do you want to go? Why do you want to go to a court date where they may deport you?
Okay, right? I misunderstood.
Yeah, they don't want to. But they tell you, come to the hearing, and we'll take care of it. Here's the hearing a year later. Listen.
Yeah, no, that's how farther back.
These judges who make these decisions, and this administration, Kane, thank you. That was supposed to be Bruce Lee's part too. There's another racist part of America. So,
yes, it was. You're right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, no. So my thing is that these people, they're not going to come back because and these judges and the administration at the time, they knew they weren't going to come back.
It can only hurt them.
They knew they weren't going to come back, and yet they had the information to send them Social Security numbers. They had the information to get them Medicare. They had the information to send them to sanctuary cities, and
we paid for it,
and billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And which really, honestly, you know why it pisses me off? It could go towards Americans.
Well, because
we're paying into the taxes, and in other words, we're funding outside American interests Well, eventually, the Democrats made it an American interest because they want voters. Bottom line, they want to flood the roll calls with eligible Democratic voters.
Yeah, you said that AOC
that's the plan.
That.
That's the plan all along. It's not just AOC. It's across the board.
Oh,
it's across the board. Anyone that supported that policy, and it was huge under the Biden administration.
Yes,
I mean that was the master plan.
You said they were busing people in to vote.
Steve, they did not want to have another loss like they did to Donald Trump.
Right.
And whether it was Trump or another Republican, they saw what happened with the groundswell of pro-American support in 2016.
Yes.
They saw that.
Yes.
They saw their candidate, the graceful and elegant and knowledgeable and educated Hillary Clinton, get her ass whipped.
Right.
All right.
And people were laughing at Trump.
People were laughing at him when they were in the debates, and he was insulting everyone. And who's voting for this vile man? But bottom line, and he struck a chord not just with the small handful of racists in this country, and there are some. He struck a chord. That's fine. He struck a chord with the average American who's sitting down and watching this guy talk and saying, "Here's where we've gone wrong in this country, and here's where I want to take you to be right in this country." And you can see it right in front of your eyes. The bamboos been going on with the Democratic Party towards the average American. They could give two fucks about, and I say a lot of the Republicans too, a lot of the Congress people, they could give two fucks about the average American.
No,
if people don't realize when you're looking at Donald Trump, you can insult him all you want if you're a far left liberal. I don't give a shit. Bottom line, if you're a sane person and you look at the guy, when he speaks, yes, he's full of himself. But bottom line, I think he cares about the people he represents.
I do too. So he commands attention too. People listen when
he has, and even with his egotistical self-determination, he has literally changed the landscape of the world, because now every whim and take that he speaks out changes markets, changes policies, changes political views, changes military views, changes economic development. Anything this guy says and does has an effect not just on the United States, but on the rest of the world.
Yes.
And we have never seen this type of populist in this country who has the control. You think he gives a fuck about the United Nations? He doesn't need the United Nations.
He can do whatever he wants.
Exactly.
No, he doesn't.
You think he cares about Russia and China colluding? He doesn't care.
It doesn't matter.
NATO. He knows he's in command.
Yes.
Of the most powerful nation in the world, in the history of this world,
army in the world,
and he's using it to, I think, advance this country. Not to put it in, but some of the weaker people in this country can't swallow that.
He does not have a personal agenda, in my opinion. His agenda is to get the country back on track, get the country back to where he was trying to get it going. I don't think he has like a personal agenda.
You could have all the kumbaya you want in this country about race, being loving and caring and compassionate and so, but bottom line, economics drives life.
It does.
If you are poor and you don't have economic resources, your health is in jeopardy.
Yep.
Your mental and physical health is in jeopardy.
You will get
your
less
quality of life is in jeopardy, right? Your future financial stability is in jeopardy. So bottom line, accumulation of wealth is such a big part of everyone's everyday life. And those are the things that he focuses on as far as lowering. Now,
well, because he views running this country as a business,
right? But now, and I'm sorry, Dave, I know I'm talking too much here, but bottom line, now you're looking at it. You have to look at it in the scope of these policies that he's going to put in place. Are they all going to work? Well, I can't say all of them are going to work.
No, but he's trying.
But that's exactly it.
Yeah.
He's put forth a good effort, a decent plan. I still think he has shitbags around him in Congress who are undermining him slowly and surely.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Because
of his own party?
Of his own party. Yes, they did in 2016 too. They had control of the entire Congress and the presidency, and they couldn't get a fucking thing passed in 2 years. And then it changed. If the Democrats, again, we talked about this, Dave, before the election, that if he does win, and he has won, and the Republican Party does not get together and vote in unison on everything that needs to be passed, then this will be a worthless 2-year effort by this president again. And there's always those 3 or 4 McConnell, Lindsey Graham shitbags that are hanging around that are not giving total support to the bills that are looking to get passed through this Congress. So hopefully it works out, because I think a lot of them will have a good effect. I think in the long term, you will see prices reduce. How much? I don't think we can reduce. I think we're at another level in life, Dave. I don't know what you think right now. We're at another economic level in life where things cost so much right now.
Well,
I don't know how you get stuff lowered,
especially
across the board, right? Yeah. Across the board, how do you get things lowered to make it affordable for the average American?
Dave, you had mentioned before we came on air that we needed to talk about the fact that China made 3 major concessions in the trade war that are huge, seismic. Would you like to go into detail about that? It had to do with the tariffs and what changed.
Yeah. So first of all, they agreed 3 things. China agreed on 3 things. Number 1, to lower their tariffs 25%.
Right.
So from what it is, and then obviously United States is doing a reciprocal version. And then the second thing is that they aren't going to do it. They agree not to do a like tit for tat kind of deal with respect to tariff raising. No punitive kind of, we raise taxes, so we're going to raise tariffs. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is that their person that's in charge of public safety is going to come and meet and start to investigate the fentanyl situation.
From China?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's major.
Right. So those are the 3 major things. I don't know, the details of it all, but those are the 3 things that I had. Now,
that is major.
On both sides, they say that, the liberals say that Trump lost in his battle and had to back off, you know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is that by raising the tariffs to China, it forced them to have to come down on theirs, and it's kind of a battle back and forth to be able to get towards a fairer level. So I just think that's an important part with the tariffs.
But that was the point of the tariffs in the first place, was to get them to come to the table and get it down, correct?
And the stock market is soaring because of it. So
that was the purpose of it. That's why he did it in the first place, was to get them lowered.
Right. And who goes to the negotiating table once you get them there and give somebody the middle finger? Exactly. Bottom line, you're going to pull back. All right, guys, let's pull back. Tensions are a little high. Both sides are hurting a little bit economically because of this. I think China is hurting much more. I watched a CNBC interview this morning, and they had the Chinese correspondent for CNBC there, who was talking about, China thinks they've shown, put America in its place because, now America has conceded on some of these and they're going to hold off. And then one of the commentators asked, well, what about all these protests on the docks and in these companies where, workers aren't getting paid and they're walking out or leaving, and the factories are closing because no one's getting paid because nothing's going out in product. And she of course, steps back and she's like, oh, well, they are actually being paid by the companies for not being there, and they're just on what they're calling, they're on hold. These companies are on hold and they're waiting just for things to smooth out so they can go back to start producing again. That's the biggest line of bullshit that there ever is that came out of any reporter from any overseas source. But all she's doing is covering up for the fact that Chinese factories are closing. Employees do not get paid. Okay. No one is getting, you're telling me the CCP is sending employees checks for doing nothing?
We got a run in.
What?
Dave?
Yeah, keep going.
Let him in.
Who are we letting in? No, it's over. It's
He's
over.
here. He's here. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I'm just saying that there's no way these employees are getting paid just to hold on. They're going to pay them for months. These factories, they don't do that in China. There's no way. So bottom line, the media again is coming out with articles that are slandering and that are assisting the Democratic side and saying, well, nothing is happening. Granted, not much is on paper right now, but there's a halt to be able to talk. It's still very early. There's a halt to be able to talk, and there's a reduction right now, and it's better so that the market feels better, and that's why it's up. But the one-sidedness that comes out, it's always this administration always has to defend itself.
Well, because the media is slanted. The media is never down the middle.
It always has to defend itself.
Yes.
The other thing that came out that was big is that Trump is going to sign an executive order to get prescriptions to drop by 80%. So
really,
I believe it's along the lines of like necessary critical prescriptions, but it's
critical care.
Yes.
Well, you got to realize, Dave, that's got to be an act passed by Congress. So he can write this executive order and make it a decision, but Congress has to put it into law.
Yes.
And the idea is this. The idea is that the rest of the world pays 5 to 6 times less in prescription medication than the United States does.
Yes.
So they're trying to he wants fair practice as far as bidding for pharmaceuticals at the same level that the rest of Europe and the rest of the world does. He wants that level.
Right.
Instead of think about it right now. Pfizer sells medication in the U.S. and Pfizer sells medication overseas. In the U.S., it's $100 for what you're getting, and overseas, it's $20. So how fair is that? Why is America getting gouged? Again, it's been a thing that's been ignored for years. All these politicians get behind it and rally and chant, we're going to fight for Medicaid and Medicare, prescription medication.
Why are we getting gouged?
Why are we getting gouged? Because number one, a lot of the politicians are in the pockets of these pharmaceutical companies. So when it comes time you've got lobbyists that are strolling up and down the halls of Congress, and they are shaking hands and handing out checks. And these politicians are voting in line to not do what this executive order is going to do, hopefully.
So they're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
That's all politicians do.
Oh.
That's all politicians do.
Yeah, but I didn't think with pharmaceuticals.
With anything. When a politician tells you X, just remember it's Y. They mean Y.
Oh.
Okay? It's not X, it's Y.
Well, we have to welcome.
By the way, I didn't want to. I don't want to change the topic, but I couldn't believe this when I read it. I looked up David Carradine, for Kung Fu, and I can't believe how he died.
Hung himself.
He died. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he hung himself.
No, they said. So
he was found in a closet.
He arrived in Bangkok, Thailand. I have to read the whole thing because it's
yeah.
He arrived in Bangkok, Thailand on May 31st, 2009 to shoot the film Stretch. I never heard of it. He was last seen alive on June 3rd.
Wasn't he some white guy?
Yeah.
He could not be contacted after he failed to appear for a meal with the film crew. On June 4th, Carradine was found dead in his room at the Swiss Knoll I can't pronounce it. Some hotel. He was 72 years old. The 2 lieutenants said Carradine was found naked and had hanged himself in the room closet with a curtain cord.
Oh, he was doing the cut off blood jerking off thing. Yeah, I've done that.
But
I do this. I actually do this. I will see your thunder though.
Yeah, the auto asphyxiation.
I said he had been dead for 12 hours.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Autoerotic asphyxiation. Yes, it's awesome. Yes.
You guys are wrong. You're all wrong.
No. It really is.
No, I'm saying it wasn't. He didn't do it to himself. He wasn't jerking off. Those are Bruce Lee's relatives. Bruce Lee's relatives went into that hotel room and beat him and hung that motherfucker because Bruce Lee didn't get the role Kung Fu. They gave it to David Carradine,
a white guy.
They said there was no suicide note, and he was found with a rope tied to both his neck and his genitals.
Oh,
right.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
yes. That's not your.
Killed.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Ouch.
What was he jerking off with? The rope around his nuts?
No.
Okay.
No.
All
No,
right.
that's not how it's
He was killed. It's Bruce Lee's relatives. They went in, and that was payback for 40 years ago. Him getting the role of Kane in Kung Fu.
Well, we have to
know how he got killed. Nobody knows. Like they never found out.
Well, Dave, we'll have to do it on Bloodlines and Betrayals.
That's a good Bloodlines and Betrayals, right there.
Billy the Liquor Guy.
That's David Carradine.
He could get the Chinese mafia to investigate this.
We have to acknowledge the presence of the marauder himself, Tyler King.
Hello, Tyler.
All he does is train. He teaches class. He beats that ass.
Right.
And then he pounds it after.
I've been here for like 10 minutes, dude.
I know. I've been trying to say hi to you. You haven't been here for 10 minutes. You've been here for 3.
I thought it was like a J. Crew model.
But Tyler has a fight coming up.
Thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate that.
Tyler has a fight coming up in 12 days. We're very excited for that. And I watched the pay-per-view, Tyler, with Frank on Saturday. So we were debating about a couple of the knockouts we talked about, and you and I talked about Jose Aldo losing. I thought he won 2 of the rounds. Frank disagreed with me. You think that the other guy won 2?
I disagree with you as well, Steve. He didn't win the first 2 rounds. They were close, but I don't think he won the first 2.
And you still don't think he won the first 2?
Steve, you couldn't believe it today when I told you yeah, dude, he was just tired.
No, I knew he was tired, but I was looking at Frank. I didn't know he was looking at the clock. That's what blew me away. Why in the middle of the fight do you look at the clock?
Because he's so gassed, he doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, Steve, he, for lack of a better term, blew his wad out.
Right, he did. He had a rope around his neck, and he was jerking off in the corner.
The guy survived.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, F, how much more time do I got?"
3 minutes.
The clock was like, "Oh, F." Oh,
but then he got pummeled the second he looked.
Right,
it was over.
Yeah, he was.
The
tank was empty.
He get pummeled, but he got cracked, and then it just went downhill from there.
No, it did. I just wanted to point that out. Dave, I wanted to ask you, and because this has to do with you, Trump endorsed Jack Ciattarelli for New Jersey governor. That's pretty big news, right?
He ran last time against Murphy. He almost beat him.
Trump has gone all in on that, and he said that he would work closely with Trump.
Trump wants a foothold back in the New York metro area.
It's going to be tough to win, though. Because it depends on who he's going to be going against in New Jersey, but more likely it's going to be Fulop, who's the Jersey City mayor.
Mayor of Jersey City is going to run for governor?
Yeah.
Wow. Jersey City.
Believe it or not, I actually know him.
Is he a nice person?
I met him a couple times. He's his wife is friends with my wife. So yeah, they knew each other. They all lived in Hoboken. They all know each other. But I'm vehemently opposed to him. I'm for Jack Ciattarelli. Even though he's a decent guy. I mean, he's I'm
a decent guy too.
Politics wise, so
Steve, I won't go that far.
Everybody is vehemently opposed to Steve.
Yeah. Steve is apolitical. Everyone's vehemently opposed to him. It doesn't matter.
No. I'm non-binary.
You're right. Yeah. As long as you're not talking about anything's any more Billy the Liquor Guy.
Why did that bother you so much if I asked if Janine Pirine had a landing strip or not? You guys were all.
You didn't ask it that way.
I asked if she had a big bush.
No, you said. Wait, Judge Janine shaves her pussy? You can't say that.
It was so annoying. It was so direct.
It was a left-hand turn into a fucking ditch.
We were in a conversation about how he was fighting crime, essentially.
It felt like I just came out of one of Billy's bars. I drank 2 liters of vodka and I took the wheel and I went right into the fucking ditch.
You know what? Billy was finally kind of talking about what actually he did for the first time.
He talked about it the whole show. I got him to do it.
You were like deviating him to the right every time. I finally got a feeling of the pain that he had for being undercover a little bit of like what, some of what transpired.
Yeah. And then Steve would go
700 episodes on a garbage truck.
And then Steve would go, yeah. And, after you handcuffed that guy, did you want to give him a Blumpkin? What the fuck are you doing?
I never mentioned a Blumpkin.
Yes, you did.
I didn't mention it at that
17
moment.
times.
I mentioned
Tyler.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to ask Tyler anything.
Say what?
I am. Tyler, you played with Steve.
Yes.
Okay. You guys are friends, good friends.
Yeah. You're thinking of something to ask just to irritate me.
What is his obsession with Blumpkins? It's the most annoying thing I've ever heard in my life.
Because I walked in on one in college and I'll never forget it. I'm scarred for life.
Wait. When and who?
I will just say Karan Henry was one of them.
And the center, Steve Smith was the other one, right? The center.
The initial of the other person was DT.
That's absurd. It's
I hope it's not the first
thing I've ever heard of.
And I walked in on it.
I hope it's not the first person that pops in my head.
It is the first person that pops into your head. I walked in on it. And they were having a party in their apartment.
This is going nowhere.
The fuck was that like?
I was shocked.
About this later.
I was shocked.
Are we talking about fucking tariffs or what?
No, we are. Dave brought it up about the tariffs that
it was Chuck Schumer that was blowing a guy in a bathroom.
No, definitely.
No. Tyler, Dave brought this up that
Bernie Sanders was blowing a guy.
There was no BS. There was no BS. China, Tyler, made 3 concessions in the trade war with the tariffs that are huge because of Trump, because he set the tariffs. He got China to come to the table, and they made 3 major concessions. So all the Democrats that are complaining about Trump, saying that he's this, that, and the other thing and shouldn't be in office, he has already done more with China than Biden could ever have hoped to do. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes. Like, I will say, when Trump first came on the scene, I was not a fan at all. I didn't. Just hear me out. When he I was also dating a really hot liberal chick, so that might have played into it. Anyway.
Of course he was.
Of course I was. She had a lot of tattoos. Anyway, so he got into office, and my biggest thing was he's not presidential, he's not this, he's not that. It's kind of,
but I thought that was the best part about him.
Listen to me. I was thinking it's kind of crazy he got elected, but when he got into office and the economy pretty dramatically improved, and he was repeatedly following through on many, not all, but many of the campaign promises he met. You can't say that for virtually any politicians. That's what really won me over with him. So,
are you talking about 2016 or now?
2016. Now.
Oh, okay.
And so that really won me over. And he's kind of following the same playbook. He's actually doing it on a bigger scale now.
I agree wholeheartedly. He is. I agree wholeheartedly. He is.
But the biggest thing is, people like the left is going to continually decide to destroy, or try rather to destroy him. But now things are getting better for the American people, especially economically. So,
well, they will get better. It's
going to take a little time, but
I mean, Dave. I would say everything's actually improved. It's pretty slight, but it's noticeable. It's not spectacular.
It's not significant, but it's on the rise. Yes.
But everything's leveled off and kind of gone down a little bit.
Well, gas prices have gone down.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing it in onesies and twosies exactly the way that he wants to do it. I think that's definitely true. I also like how he's been like, I don't know if you know the whole thing, what's going on in South Africa where they're killing the
farmers,
the white farmers. Yeah, they're called Afrikaans.
I wasn't
holy
like,
shit.
I don't know all the details, but it's come on my radar now. So yeah, I do know that
Trump has brought them in like refugees, and they've gone through the process the right way as refugees. They brought them in. They're like thrilled to have, but they just started bringing some of them in because they're going and taking those people's land. And these are hardworking people.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think I think Trump is piece by piece taking steps to take care of each one of these.
It's like eating an elephant.
Yes, there's no doubt. But
Frank, I wanted to ask
Frank's
you this.
Getting tired. We got to get Frank to the finish line.
I wanted to ask him. I just wanted to ask him about this. My dad was trying to tell me that Trump bought some jet from Qatar that's got like 2 levels.
First of all, it's not
Qatar.
It's Qatar.
Qatar. He said he took the shit for it.
Let me do it.
Okay, please. I'm just curious. I'm asking the question.
Qatar gifted Trump or the U.S. government this plane for the president to use. Just here you go.
And that was 2 levels, right? It's really big and flashy.
No, I believe I would assume so. It's just a giant luxury liner airplane.
Oh,
I don't know. Number one, I don't know how you can accept that, or how you'd want to use it, or how the U.S. military would accept that. Because bottom line,
there are enemies.
No, but
they're not.
Something can be. Right? Granted, I'm sure they're gonna go nose to tail on that plane and make sure everything is functional. But you never know. There could be something slipped on there, some kind of a control. Some kind of electronic device, something that could mess something up. Why would you think the Secret Service and the United States Air Force and the military command want to take a chance at flying an Arab gifted? That's like the Trojan horse.
Well, I agree. I agree with Frank on this one.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna wheel. Here's this big horse.
You get pretty racial there.
But yeah, absolutely.
Why did he accept it then?
What's that?
Why did he accept it then?
Because he just agreed to a $5 billion deal with Qatar.
Frank,
yeah.
Why not? They're a great trade partner of ours,
right?
And
they are.
Yes. Qatar.
Yeah.
Qatar's big. Qatar is the friendliest Arab country to the United States.
Exactly. So, Frank, why would he not? Does it make sense to say good terms with as many of the friendly governments there as possible?
Yes. So let's give the plane to J.D. Vance.
Exactly. So if Trump had balked at it or refused to accept it or something like that, they might be a little bit miffed. They might not like that.
I wouldn't doubt it one bit. But see, I live by a policy, and I hate this, and it's a racist policy. It is. I will never.
If I tried to give you
I will never trust an Arab. That is correct. I will never trust an Arab.
That is such
because
bullshit.
No, it's totally true. I'm sorry.
I gift you something. You're going to turn
the only
it down?
thing you could give me is sand, and I would turn that down. Bottom line, what I'm saying right now.
Listen. Steve is not a real Arab.
I'm right. Yes,
right.
I'm not a real Arab.
You have no country.
Lebanon's not an Arab.
Nah.
Okay.
That'll be an Israel vacation spot. That'll be an Israel vacation spot.
You're barely an Arab.
I'm not barely. I'm 50-50.
He wants to make this Air Force One.
Yes, and that's my problem with it. Dave.
I didn't read that.
Listen,
yes. Why not?
The idea is to make it Air Force One, and then it goes to donations to the library.
Doesn't it look like a bribe?
It is absolutely looks like a bribe. They just approved a $5 billion deal with Qatar.
Trump could have bought himself that plane. He could upgrade.
That's true.
Correct. But
So
see,
who cares?
I'll read a couple of Republicans what they said, and I'll let you guys kind of. So Rick Scott, Republican, Florida, big Trump ally, said, "I'm not flying on a Qatari plane. They support Hamas. I don't know how you make it safe. I don't want the president of the United States flying on unsafe."
Thank you.
Plane.
Make it Air Force Two.
For these, I guess it's different perspectives, but Rand Paul. Everybody knows who Rand Paul is. I mean, he can be a little quirky at times, but he's Republican.
Doctor. Yeah, doctor.
I don't think it looks good or smells good. He says there is a provision in the Constitution that says you can't do this, and so the question is, can you do it? If only for official purposes. I think it's not worth the appearance of impropriety, whether it's improper or not. I don't think it's worth it. I agree there. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, I don't know. She said, need to look at the constitutionality. I'd be checking for bugs is what I'd be checking for, of course. I mean, I agree with that. Go without saying. Two more here.
I think Hillary Clinton said she's all for it.
Yeah, she's like, sure.
She gave the Russians her emails, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually partially funded it. The Clinton administration.
That's right. The Clinton Foundation. The Clinton Foundation sent money to Qatar.
She said, listen, he can't turn down gifts. It's just who he is. Here is $500 million. Please give this to him, and then we can take him down.
Right. And bottom line, what all these
Trojan horse is a great analogy.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, listen, all these Congress people who I despise as well, but I think they're on the right path is what I just stated. They just don't want to state the obvious that I stated is that you can never trust an Arab nation. Because bottom line, the interests of Arab nations are not all specifically well-to-do. Even if some of them in the Arab nations are well-to-do and they are friendly to us, bottom line, their religion supersedes their friendship
because they're Muslim,
and the religion says kill all infidels.
Well, the radical Muslim.
It does. I think it's the average Muslim right now. It's starting to.
Let me read one final thing, which would make me concerned.
Who's calling you at this hour, Dave?
That would be the Qatar.
He goes to sleep at like 2 a.m. every morning.
That's the Qatari government right now, looking to give Dave $10 million for this podcast.
That's it. How much is Qatar giving us?
$10 million.
All right.
All right.
Qatar
I love the Arabs. I love the Arabs.
Yeah. Qatar has been a key financial supporter of the Palestinian militant organization Hamas, transferring more than $1.8 billion to Hamas over the years.
Wasn't that bad?
That's bad. Yes,
that's really bad.
Yeah,
that's bad.
No,
they house some of them in their country.
Steve, you're an Arab. That's good. You have to say that's good.
The PLO is bad.
Steve, Arab.
I'm not in the PLO.
Hamas good. Hamas good.
The PLO got kicked out. They kicked out with Yasser Arafat.
PLO. That's Yasser Arafat. He's dead.
PLO.
PLO.
He said PLO.
My thing is this. I have many Arab friends. Unfortunately, yes. My statements are generalized, obviously. Okay. I have questions of every religion. There are extreme Christians. There are extreme Catholics that are nuts. There are, but there's a faction. There's a faction of the Arab. Yeah, there's a faction of the Arab world that seems to be not just a small extreme right corner. They're huge and they're growing in the number.
A large amount. Yes.
And the religion
the world.
Right. And the religion is interpreted in many different ways. And one of the main ways is to obviously have a Sharia law world.
What does Sharia law mean?
Sharia law is the Muslim law. It's basically the law of Muhammad. It's basically why women aren't allowed to drive cars. They have veils over their heads. You pray 5 times a day. You can only eat certain things 7 times a day. See, I don't even know the whole laws. But bottom line, I think, and that's what worries me. And I look at, we are always 10, 20 years behind the European curve. Okay,
we're that far behind
the European curve. Correct.
Wow.
We are ahead technologically and all that, but in trend, we're always a little bit behind the European curve. And now the European curve has turned to an invasion of third world immigrants into all of Europe. It has gotten to the point now where you're looking at places like Sweden and Finland and Belgium. Belgium has, I think, a population. 80% of the entire population of Belgium right now are immigrants. Okay,
80%
of the population of Belgium itself are immigrants, and most of them from the Arab world. And again, I'm not. I know I'm coming off as insulting.
You can't get a Belgian waffle in Belgium.
I don't.
Jesus, that's what Belgium looks like.
Right. I don't.
No, this is what Afghanistan was in 1970 versus now.
Right.
Women.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
They
were Americanized, and that's where see the Arabs didn't want what was on the left.
That's Sharia law.
The strict Muslims. Yeah. The Muslim law forbids that on the left.
Correct.
On the right is what they want.
Yes.
And now that on the right has infiltrated Europe.
Yes.
It has come here in a small faction in the United States, but it is growing. But in Europe, okay, I know, I can tell you right now.
Increase the population.
Right. Yeah. And it started out with compassion and sympathy and sort of a handout in a way to immigrants coming over in boats. So now it's become to the point where you are going to see the rise of right-wing national groups in every country in Europe. Yeah, France almost turned conservative in their last election. Marie Le Pen lost just by a few points. England right now is a mess. Okay, the United Kingdom is a total mess. Yes, because you have entire neighborhoods of Muslim inhabitants who don't even allow police into these neighborhoods.
Yeah,
they just police themselves.
Well, look at Minnesota and Detroit.
Jay, Dave, before you go, let me cut with you, Frank. Like you spoke about the United Kingdom. It's a little bit of a conspiracy theory. But Conor McGregor's spoken out about this,
in Ireland,
talking about how he wants to run for president of Ireland because of the basically invasion of immigrants, the rise of violence, the rise of crime, everything along those lines. And since he has made those public statements, he gained a lot of support. But that's when the most recent scandal happened, and the media's just been burying him at every opportunity. I'm not saying he's not a little out of control, but he definitely spoke about running for president or supporting a candidate that would take a more conservative approach and keep.
That's Minnesota.
In his words, he said, "Keep Ireland Irish."
So, this is the United States.
That's Minnesota.
Why do you think
that is the area where
Ilhan Omar?
I can't remember her name right
Ilhan
now.
Omar.
Ilhan
Omar's district.
The biggest areas in the United States, if you go to Dearborn, Michigan, and
I know Dearborn. Wow.
Detroit area, those are huge Muslim populations, and so is portions of Minneapolis area, Minnesota.
Right.
So
and they've gone in, Dave. They've gone in and they've changed city law, state law. You know, right now in Minneapolis, St. Paul, the bells ring 5 times a day, so the Muslims can pray.
It's 7 times.
Right, 7 times a day. How many fucking times they do it? The bell rings for the strict Muslims to get down and pray. So. Think of it this way. This is where it's insulting.
That's scary.
When you come into a country and you're an immigrant, right? When you come into a country as an immigrant, you are there to abide by the laws of the state and the nation. Yeah. You are there to support those laws. That is why you left where you left, is to come here and support. What true strict Muslims do, and Sharia law Muslims, They move into an area and they want you to change to their rules. How insulting would that be if I took 1,000 of my Catholic friends and I ended up in Tehran and I want to have the church bell ring on Sunday for mass?
They just shoot you, wouldn't they?
Basically, they would eliminate us in one way or another. And see, that's where the difference is.
Jesus.
See, they have no tolerance.
That's amazing.
Our country, we are very tolerant. We are
overly tolerant.
We've become pussies.
Yeah.
You want to come here and you're Muslim, you believe in Sharia law, cool. You do it in your house. You don't do it in my fucking community. That's all. That's all it is.
Wow.
It shouldn't be any other way. Now, the church bells ring in this country because the church bells have rang in this country since we've been a country.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest difference is the Sharia law aspect. So if the Muslim community came in and they had mosques and they were observing the Quran and they were living like normal Americans, but they have a different religion, even if they're stricter than my religion or somebody else's religion, I think that's less of an issue. The issue is Sharia law. Right. Well, in America, we're talking about equal rights for people. Meanwhile, the women are walking around covered, right? And listen, that's
Dave, they're not allowed to talk back to their husbands. They're not allowed to speak first. They're not, I believe.
It's
legal. It's very law. It's legal for the husband to physically abuse his spouse. Like, these are all things she's subservient to her husband. And it's just such a contradiction by obviously what the left pushed this country as far as women's rights and everything like that.
And I think you can look at a couple, Mormons have a stricter code.
Well, the fundamentalists for Mormons are bad too.
Amish do, right? Hasidic Jews do they kind of come into a community and try to make it their own community.
They intimidate.
Well, they can't use electricity on Saturday.
I think the overall biggest difference is what Frank just said. Sharia law, okay? So whether you agree or disagree with how the Mormons believe or they're a little more stricter, or the Amish or the Hasidic Jew, people may disagree with how they are, but Sharia law mandates that the Muslims that follow Sharia law are so strict that they're not integrating or even interacting. Let's not even say interacting with anybody outside of their own community.
Yeah.
And everybody outside of their community is an enemy. Completely an enemy. So
wow. They're viewed as an enemy.
Other stricter communities probably have more of a fear of maybe the regular way American life is. That's why, and they have their own codes of conduct, but they are not looking at everybody as the enemy, and that's an issue that Sharia law brings in. That's why in Sweden and you can't go into certain areas because you're the enemy. There's issues of that in England. There's issues in Ireland. If you've seen videos in Ireland where the Irish are going back into their communities and pushing these people out of the area because they're consuming, trying to take over. So they're trying to push. They're not just trying to live in the community and live amongst each other.
No, they're trying to take over.
That's one thing. They're trying to take over and get rid of you completely. It's a different kind of thing. It's to me, it's different than people who live under a stricter religious code who want to live among other people who live in a strict religious code. That's different than viewing other people as purely the enemy.
The enemy. Tyler, the WWE had the first female match in Saudi Arabia only 2 years ago. They never let women wrestle in Saudi Arabia on the cards until just 2 years ago, and they had to be fully clothed.
I actually did not know that, but it makes sense.
I had no idea.
It's just extreme. It's just too extreme.
Listen, Dave, the thing is, everything you mentioned, you listed all different sorts of strict code religions. But the other thing they all had in common, they were all religious extremes. Every religion has extremes.
Correct.
As far as Islam, their extreme is just
Dangerous.
at this point. That's exactly
That's
what I was
the
about to
difference.
say. Literally, it's dangerous. It's dangerous,
Wow.
is what it is.
Wow. Wow, it's just death.
How are the gays for Palestine working out?
You're
That's
not allowed to
hilarious.
be gay over
Send
there.
them over
I'm
there.
sorry. I'm sorry, but that is
I thought you're not
the
allowed to
most
be gay.
gays for Palestine is the most hilarious thing.
You're not allowed to be gay, though.
It's insanity.
In the Islam.
It's insanity.
But
Right.
what Tyler
Dude.
brought up is a very valid point.
You can't say anything. Tyler brings up is a
every
valid
religion
point.
has extremes, but with
Yeah.
the different with the Sharia law and the militant nature makes the extremities in the Islam religion dangerous, meaning you are an infidel. You are someone that is to be.
You're the enemy.
Yeah.
You're
the enemy.
How are the trannies for Tehran working out? Is that going real good?
They don't have transgenders over there.
For Tehran, they're marching.
Was that actually a thing?
No, I just made
They
that
would
up.
be hanging from
That would have been. I'm sorry, that would have been more hilarious than.
I'll dress up 3 girls and just trannies for Tehran.
Send them into Colombia.
It's just funny to me. Well, it made more funny to me. I fell down a rabbit hole today, and I forget if it was Instagram or just the internet, but it showed it actually parodied Gays for Palestine and showed actual procedure, I believe, footage of what they do to gay people in Palestine. Literally, they almost made a joke about it. They literally throw them off a roof. This is what happens.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You're totally right. The extreme part of that religion is just very violent. It's
it also just shows, bringing the whole point together, how ass backwards the left is about this, and a lot of things in general, but just how ass backwards they are on this, especially.
Right. So we definitely need to give the plane back to Qatar, whatever.
Listen,
not Qatar.
Trump ain't give that.
Go back, the Crusades, right? Which,
the Holy Wars.
Right, the Holy Wars. Well, who were they fighting?
Well, it was the Catholics and the Muslims.
It was the Muslim wars.
The Muslims were taking off. They had pushed all the way into
Europe. They were all the way into Europe. So the Pope had to rally the troops 7 different times.
Yeah.
We can't get them. Boys, we're on number 6. We need help. Rally the troops.
So, Tyler, I just wanted to know how's your training been the last 2 days? You feel good?
No. Do I feel good? No, I'm fucking sorry. I'm just dead right now. But
what's the weight cut? You gotta go from where to where?
I'll have to cut weight. I'm sitting pretty heavy right now. My composition's good. Everything's good.
Is he gonna outweigh you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he will.
What is this guy? What's his specialty? Is he a stand-up guy? Is he Muay Thai? Is he? It can't be a grappler at that
really
weight.
Bad stand-up.
Really bad stand-up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Being abnormally tall, being abnormally heavy,
yeah,
not in a good way,
and he just runs his mouth.
Really bad. Honestly, brother, really bad striking.
Really? So will you sweep the leg and take him down? Or do you want to stand and bang?
We have a game plan, Frank.
Okay, that's true. I can't give that away. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
We have a game plan, Frank.
I apologize.
He can't
Frank,
reveal it.
That's quite all right, sir. I appreciate the question, but
don't want to give it away.
And are you the main event on the card?
Negative. I believe I'm going to be the feature fight.
Nice.
What is that? Isn't that the main event?
No, before.
The feature fight is the third from last fight.
Yeah, third.
I got you. Okay. All right. Well, Tyler.
Excited?
No, he's not excited. He's not excited. He's going to be fine. He's got to stop being nervous. He's going to be fine.
I'm very relaxed right now. Part of that is I'm just smoked from training twice and running around and dealing with several of the issues that have risen up. But we're all good.
It's managing his own.
The
fighters,
worst
trying
part
to get them
about
fights.
this, the worst part about this sport is not the actual fight itself.
No, it's
the actual fight itself is nothing. It's the 12 weeks in, or how many ever in the camp.
That's what Aldo said when he retired.
Trade methods have gotten very refined over the years, and in that, like, I've evolved and refined my training sessions. I'm not the way I was 10 years ago when I was grinding myself to a pulp and not always training the most effective or exactly what I need to do for what I had in front of me. We're good.
No, but you're getting the rest that you need. You're going to be fresh when this thing comes.
Yes, actually, I am.
And I think that's most important.
Fairly well.
Do you have any words you'd like to say to Matt Hamill?
I'm glad you can hear, bro.
you can mouth them if you want to say it. Go ahead.
No, for real. Like, did he? Like, honestly, it's a really cool. I think it's a cool thing that he was either one of the first or the first. I don't know, but there's like an experimental ocular implant that allowed him to actually hear.
He can hear.
He can hear now, yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he can.
Yeah,
actually,
it
was 2 or 3 years ago.
The story I heard was he heard his daughter's voice for the first time. He cried. I mean, I'm sorry. That's a great story.
Right.
No, we have a teacher here in our district. Jamie.
Jamie can hear now.
Yeah, Jamie can hear now. Yeah, they got a wire that runs from the head down to the ear, and it's crazy what they can do now. I mean, that's fantastic.
All right. Well, Tyler.
Listen,
I'm glad things go well for him. I mean, it doesn't make it any less of he's not a douchebag, but kind of clueless, kind of.
Well, as you said, he's retarded. That was your word for it.
You can't.
I mean, I'm trying to be a little nice.
Say what he wants.
Steve, I'm trying to be a little nicer about things, but yes,
I know you are. You're a good person.
So quickly, we need to talk about some things we have. So. We have a peace agreement negotiated by the Trump administration between Pakistan and India right now. It's a ceasefire, basically, trying to talk about peace down the road. There was an incursion by Pakistani militants or military that went in and killed some Indian tourists in India. And I don't know if they're tourists or maybe part of the land there, but that's what sparked the whole thing up. So that's this is within a weekend. All this happened. Yeah. You have Zelensky going to Turkey, to talk with Putin face to face. Trump may swing by because Trump is left right now for Qatar.
Right. On a plane, not
on the Qatari plane, on Air Force One.
Right.
And so now you're going to have Trump swinging in to be a 3-part negotiation tool here in Turkey to try to end that war. There's a ceasefire in place, but you know how those things go. A lot of it's bullshit. There's still incursions.
A lot to be worked out. Yes.
Right. You've got a stock market that has rebounded tremendously today because of the news of a possible China deal, but at least a halting of trade of the tariffs to lower levels now to sort of calm the public. You already have a trade deal with United Kingdom. You're going to have one coming up within a day. If it wasn't for this war or this ceasefire, you'd have one with India right away. Japan is next on the board. Then Europe will follow. So
all really is Israel and Palestine,
right? You've gotten the American hostage from Hamas was freed today.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So, and this is a whirlwind 72-hour period.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Okay. In political history by a leader.
And how much of this was covered by the mainstream media?
None of it. David Muir is
in dribbles.
Exactly.
And bottom line, within a 72-hour period, and we've got more coming into this week right now as far as things being ironed out. But you're looking at a guy who's 78 years old. They said he was incompetent. They said he's health wise he's overweight and he's tired and everybody they pick on anything. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
This guy.
He's
has
a million times better.
More acuity, more energy, more drive, and more focus than anyone that's been in that chair in a very long time.
Yeah,
and I'm a Republican, but I liked Barack Obama. But even in Obama's times, he did the same stuff that Trump was doing now. Okay, as far as deportations, Obama is the deporter in chief.
Yeah, the second term Obama wasn't really good.
Yeah, but so my thing is that you can pair up whoever you want to pair up against this guy right now. He's 112 days in or whatever, 110 days
He's
in.
done more than Biden did.
And he has more on the table to be able to make the country successful than any other president, I would say, in the history of this country. He is blowing through issues. He's blowing through issues.
Frank, you might be going a little extreme there, but I would say a president since 1950 probably.
Well, not FDR. FDR was the best.
Nah. FDR was the best.
Yeah, the fireside chats during World War II.
Listen, he went through a depression. Okay,
he did.
Went through. Okay, here we are again, Dave. History.
I didn't know FDR was depressed.
Yeah, no, not depressed. Mentally depressed. The Great
Depression. Yeah.
Okay, he went through
he got out of the Great Depression
with the New Deal.
Huge mistakes. Huge mistakes in the depression. That's for another political show.
The stock market crash, all that. Oh, okay.
Huge mistakes during that whole process is how he mended the country. It took way too long, and way too many people had to suffer. But bottom line, and you can go George Washington, you can go Abe Lincoln, freed the slave. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But I'm telling you right now, what this guy's done in 110 days. Unprecedented in the history of this office.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. All right. Well, Dave, great job. Banner episode, Rebel Republic. Tyler.
Yes.
We love you so much. Thank you for joining us. And the voice of reason, Frank Cristiano.
Right here,
offered a lot of voice and a lot of reason.
Yeah, a lot of voice.
Tyler King, his fight, May 24th. For Cage Titans in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Plymouth.
Stream it at spectationsports.com.
Yes, Spectation.
Promo code Tyler King.
All you have to do is put the name in, Tyler King. And the way you remember it is all he does, he trains, he teaches class, he beats that ass, and then he pounds it vigorously after. That's how you remember it. Yeah. All right, Dave. So
Steve,
this has been Rebel Republic. Just remember when
life gives you Blumpkins.
When life gives you Blumpkins, run the hell out of the room, please, and don't smell anything. You can go with that.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Till then.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be in the room when a Blumpkin's going on.